Coming up on this episode of the Designers of Change podcast.
You don't have any control over luck. You want to plan your life. Planning is something that you have control over.
That's why it's so important too that when you get dreams, you write them down.
Yes, yeah.
Because you will forget.
You will forget.
But there are messages in there.
Messages.
There are reminders, right? That, this is where you're heading and this is the plan for you. And maybe you really need to get up and go and start the process.
They need a vision. Where are you going? But you also need a plan. How am I going to get there? I want you to write this down because planning is the
Welcome to the Designers of Change podcast, and we are on episode 2 of season 2, and we are super excited as always. Now, what I'm so excited about is the fact that we spoke about vision last time. Now, we're going to put vision in practice by giving you some tidbits on planning, because planning is absolutely essential to making sure that your vision is manifested. Now, just before we go into this wonderful episode, we want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, Jace Myrie Media, Mind Food International, Superlative Auto, Grace Creates, Amanda's Kitchen, Caribbean Gospel TV, and MAAD 97.5 FM coming all the way out of Guyana. Mr. Wright, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's 2026 and we are alive. So we give God all the praise. You know, on the last episode, we did vision that in 2026 that you can't lead without a vision.
Yes.
But here's the next part of vision. The next part of vision, that if you are going to execute your vision, you need a plan.
Yes.
You know, the thing is, babes, no airplane leave an airport without a flight plan.
All right.
So they just can't haphazard leave the airport and, take...
Say, I'm going to take this.
Yeah,
I'm going to fly.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to fly this side to get to New York from Jamaica.
Yes.
No, right?
You need a plan. And if you have a vision of building a nice community, a housing scheme, you need a blueprint. You need a plan. You need a plan how the house will look. You need a floor plan. You need a roof plan.
Yes.
You need a plan of how the scheme will look before you can execute that vision.
Powerful.
And so if you don't have a plan, as grandma would say repeatedly, if you don't have a plan, you are planning. It's like
if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Simply put. And I could add more to that, right? Nobody shows up to a football game, right? A football match without a game plan, right? Nobody shows up in a classroom. No teacher shows up without a lesson plan. And so when you look at the fact that it is so critical for you to make sure that you are planning what you should be doing, it shows that planning is indeed vital. I want to share a very personal story with everyone out there. Yes, I'm going to tell you guys the tea, right? This is not tea, this is coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. But, when I met Jamar, I knew him from university. But when we reconnected, at the time, he would walk around with this sheet of paper in his wallet, and he was walking around with it for years. And this was what he called a life plan. And I was so intrigued by it. I was like, listen, what is this thing about life plan? When I opened that piece of paper, it was so old that it was literally falling apart. He had on this thing, it was ruled up with the goals, when he wanted to achieve them by. He had on it when he wanted to get married, when he wanted to have children, the businesses he wanted to actually start, the foundations he wanted to initiate, and what the foundation would be doing, and by the end of his life what he would have accomplished. And I thought to myself, I said, my God, I need one as well. And I still have my life plan till this day. By the time we were probably 3 years into our marriage, I met my paper, my life plan again. And when I looked at that thing, I had accomplished so many of those goals, guys. The ones I wrote on the piece of paper from 2012. I had accomplished so many of those goals in the short space of time. But that's just to show you how important planning is. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
You know what? One of the interesting story, I know a lot of people know the Rothschild. Do I pronounce that? Yeah. Rothschild. And so the father, Mayer Rothschild, they started out in banking,
right,
in Germany. And when the father started the first bank, he had a 400-year life plan for his family. And then he passed his plan to his sons for them to open other banks in other part of Europe. And can I tell you, to this day, the Rothschild is still one of the richest family in the world.
Powerful.
Their net worth, they said their net worth is at 70 billion pounds, and they are still in banking today because that gentleman had a plan for his family. Can I say something about planning? And it tying with vision, because you need a vision. Where are you going? But you also need a plan. How am I going to get there? I want you to write this down, because planning is the highest act of faith.
Let me repeat that. Planning is the highest act of faith. So if you really believe, if you truly believe that this vision that you are given is yours and you can accomplish it, you will write it down. You'll start planning. You'll start moving. Go ahead.
And let me put this, simplify this. Let's say 2026, you have dropped out of university. You have dropped out of school. And let's say for whatever reason, you say, you know what, I still have the vision of finishing my degree. But the reason why you dropped out of school is because it was a financial issue.
Right.
Or whatever issue it is.
Right.
Now, you want to go back to school. And so here's how the planning will take place, and all planning is the highest act of faith. You'd go back to that university, if it probably is a different university, and you start out to find out what are the, will I resume from second year, first year, what are the courses that I need to take in order to catch up back to finish this degree. And so what you are doing, you are putting planning into action, and that is the highest act of faith.
Absolutely.
Because you are planning something. You are using your faith to plan something for the end. You are acting on your faith, and that is why planning is the highest act of faith. Right now, you are listening, probably Sunday evening, and you are listening to this podcast. Right now, you can design your Monday tomorrow. You can plan your Monday tomorrow. And when you are planning your Monday, what you are doing, you are designing the future.
Powerful.
You can plan what you're going to eat tomorrow. You can plan where you want to travel this year. Whatever it is that you are doing, you can plan. You can plan and purchase a house. You can plan and build a house. You can plan and go back to school. You can plan and start your business. And that is why planning is the highest act of faith, because you are moving things into being.
You're moving things into being. You are signaling not just to God, and I know we're not being religious, we're just putting things into perspective for you. you're signaling to God that I'm ready for this thing that I want.
Yes.
And so I plan. When you plan and you start acting, those things will conspire to find you. And there's another thing about planning, and it's simply put, is this: planning is pulling things out of eternity into time. I hope you guys are following, right? Because right there and then, that person who would have went to the university, found out about what they need to sign up for, how much it is for the school fee. They don't have it yet.
No, they don't have it as yet.
They don't have it as yet. They don't see it as yet, but they're acting on it.
Yes.
They planned and they're acting on it. And that faith is enough to pull that thing into existence so that it actually happens.
Yes, I like how you put that. Planning pulls the promise out of eternity into time.
Yes.
So when you have an idea in your mind, that idea exists. It exists in your mind, but it also exists in eternity. It's not yet tangible.
Right.
And so when you put that thing on paper now, when you what you are doing, you are pulling something that is intangible and you are making it now tangible, because it is in a written format. There's a saying that if you can draw it with your pen, you can will it with a torch. Let me
Powerful.
put that.
Repeat that again.
If you can write it with your pen or draw it with your pen, you can will it with your touch. And that is why the pen is so powerful. It is even more powerful than the sword, because you can write things into being. You can plan things into being. And so when you plan, I have this business idea, you have that business idea, and you say, you know what, I'm going to start my business this year with whatever you have. You are taking those promises out of eternity. You are pulling it out of your mind, that intangible things, and you are making it tangible, because the things that we have seen have come from the things that which are not seen.
Powerful.
The tangible things that we are seeing right now, this chair that we are sitting on right now, this mic that we are using to project our voice, this was intangible.
At one point.
This was in eternity. And someone say, you know what, I can design the podcast mic to look like this. It doesn't have to look like a standard mic. And then that person gets a piece of paper, he draw what he has in mind on a piece of paper, and guess what, somebody weld this
is powerful
into being.
This is powerful. You know, I'm loving the flow of the episodes. I know we ended season 1 with Enemies of Our Destiny. And the destiny is the predestined end that we need to get to. And then we started season 2 with talking about vision, the vision for your life. Where are you going? And now we're telling them how they can achieve the vision. Isn't that wonderful? So I'm just super excited. What's the next point on the planning that you have for us?
Planning capture the promises of God for your life. Now, there are some plans for your life that the Creator have for you. But when you are planning it, what you are literally do, you are capturing it, you are documenting it. It's like your teacher is teaching, but there are some things that you might hear, but our memory, it fades in your memory. But when you write it down, you're actually capturing what the teacher said, so that you can look at it. You can revisit it another time. And that is why writing is so important. There are many years ago, babes, we used to write stuff and we used to stick it on the wall. We used to stick it on the TV, because when God gives you something, you know, most time we'll do morning charge in the morning, and sometimes sometimes some powerful thought come immediately, and guess what? You have to write it down immediately. Authors like John C. Maxwell will tell you that they walk around with a notepad, because they don't know when a good idea will come. And so you need to capture that. And so when you capture it now, you have it on that paper to revisit it, to look at it, to say, how can I make the adjustment? So when you plan, you're actually capturing the promises of God for your life.
You have me thinking like so wide. No, because I'm looking at it and I'm saying that's why it's so important too that when you get dreams, you write them down.
Yes.
Because you will forget.
You will forget.
But there are messages in there.
Messages.
There are reminders, right? That this is where you're heading and this is the plan for you, and maybe you really need to get up and go and start the process. Right? And so it is just so powerful how you said it. But a lot of people will say, and I want you to bear with me, I'm going to play devil's advocate. A lot of people will say, last year I planned, like 2025 I planned, and nothing worked out the way I planned it. So why should I bother to be putting all these plans in place when it's not going to work out?
There are two things. A lot of our plan will not work out exactly the way we plan. But here's the thing, you can make adjustments.
I love that. Love it.
For example, when a plane leave an airport, most of the time the plane is not on the flight plan, but what they do, they make correction and adjust it.
So for example, like if there is extreme turbulence, there's a weather system.
Yeah, they have to change. They change the plan. You have to adjust it, but there is something that is guiding you. For example, when a football team takes the field of play, you can't just go on the field of play and you don't know how you are going to play.
True.
So you need a game plan for the opponent, and during the game, you will adjust your plan every single Then you make adjustment. That is why they have halftime in football. Halftime in football is for you to make adjustments.
Right.
But if you don't have any plan, you can't make any adjustment. When a boxer gets into the ring, he have a fight plan. But that is why every minute they break, or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whenever a boxer break, they adjust their plan. But
because,
you can't
that's powerful because they always have the coach in them ears.
In their ears.
Always have the coach in them ears at the sideline telling them, okay, do this, do that. It's true. So they're getting the guidance, right?
Yes.
That's powerful. Now, we want to take a break. When we come back, we're going to finish up our discussion about planning. I'm really loving this, and I hope that you guys are making your notes and you're actually putting the plan in action, right? Because that's really where the magic is. But we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Designers of Change. We are on episode 2 and we're talking about everything having to do with planning. And the last point Mr. Wright shared was that planning
pulls the promises of God out of... No, planning is the art of capturing God's plan for you.
Absolutely.
Planning is the art of capturing God's will for your life. All
right. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. We said all of those things, all right? Plus more. But there's another thing that I wanted to capture, and it's this, right? That especially as spiritual people, people who have been brought up in the church or maybe different religion, we will say, you'll hear people say, oh, if God wants that for me, he will give it to me. I don't have to plan for it. Well, the truth is, you see, what happened is that God has a plan for you, but God will not plan for you. And I'm going to repeat that slowly. God has a plan for you, but he will not plan for you. There will never be a day that God comes down from heaven, leave his throne, and come and brush your teeth. And he's definitely not going to bathe you either. You have to do certain things for yourself. So, that saying that says God help those who help themselves. You have to put that action in motion.
Yes.
To activate faith. And that's what it's saying. If you truly believe, then you will actually plan and you'll start moving towards it. And I love that point about planning, because people think that things will fall in their laps, right? I engage with quite a number of young women who would say, oh, I want to get married, whether young or mature. I want to get married. I want a spouse. I want company. And I'm saying to myself, do you even go out? And they're like, no. So I'm like, okay, so I suspect you would want God to open the ceiling in your living room, and while you're there on the couch watching TV, the man will just drop from the sky, because that's like the only thing left, because you're not doing anything else.
So you have to plan. The thing is that nobody prayed you into existence.
Powerful.
Let me say it again. Nobody prayed you into existence. Two people did something unheard for you to be here.
Yes.
And so when they did that, what they are doing, they are pulling you out of eternity into time. And so that is what you need. Here's the thing about planning. When you plan, you are improving your chance of success.
I love that.
Let me say, when you plan, you are increasing your chance
of success.
When you don't have a plan for nothing, you are depending on luck. And here's the thing about
everything
luck.
just haphazard, right?
Yeah, here's the thing about luck. You never have control of luck. You can't depend on luck in life. That is why gambling is so bad. Because gambling depends on luck. And that is why gambling is bad. You don't have any control over luck. You want to plan your life. Planning is something that you have control over.
Not only that, but planning, like for me, I can admit that I'm OCD. Right? Planning reduces stress for me. Like I will literally say, okay, I have a shoot tomorrow. You'll help me organize the clothes, and I'll make sure cue cards are ready, and where I'm doing all these things. That to me reduces my stress.
Yeah.
Because I never want a life where I reach airport and I cannot find my passport.
Yes.
Right? That to me is stressful.
Apart from stress, planning also give us KPIs.
Yes.
Short-term goals or smart goals. Here's the thing. Last year, we were driving from Toronto into Ottawa.
Yes.
It was a 5-hour drive. And the vehicle that we were driving, the SUV we were driving, the gas gauge wasn't working.
Ooh.
So we were driving 5 hours, and we were driving the country part of Ottawa because the GPS in us. And it was so difficult because you don't know if the vehicle having
enough gas.
You
don't know how close the next gas station is.
And so when you lack planning for your life or for whatever you are doing, you are like a vehicle that gas gauge is not working.
Wow.
Because you can't tell where you are in life. You don't know if how far you are. You are just going, and at some point you may run out of gas.
Absolutely. That's so powerful. And I remember that experience. It was very stressful because we just did not know if we were to trust this gauge. We weren't sure if the car was going to leave us on the side of the road, that kind of thing. And so people live like that, and people get anxious and people get worried because they're worried that there's no plan. They don't know what's the next step. Now, when you have a plan, you allow guidance to come.
Yes.
You allow somebody to give you the next direction, to tell you what you should be doing next, to make recommendations, to make suggestions. When you don't have a plan, a mentor can't even help you because what is he going to help you with?
Where are you going? Yeah.
Exactly.
Where are you going? Babes, there's something came to my mind while we were doing. Is it a book or a movie, Alice in Wonderland? And there's this cat in Alice in Wonderland. And the cat said to Alice, Alice said to the cat,
is it a cat or a lion?
It's a cat, because I think Alice in Wonderland, I'm just trying to remember it. And Alice said to the cat, how far should I go? And the cat said to Alice, where do you want to go? And then Alice said, I don't know where I want to go. So the cat said, it doesn't matter. You get it? It doesn't matter. Because Alex is asking for direction, but she does not know
where she's going. So
where
any
she's
road
going.
can take
So
her.
any road can take Alice.
Because she
there.
don't know where she's
That's
going.
a powerful, yeah. So when you don't know where you are going, when you don't have a plan, any road can take you there.
Yeah.
And so when you have a plan, it gives you a bit of direction.
It does.
It gives you clarity.
Yes.
And it gives you a sense of KPIs. Where am I? How far am I? It's with the gas gauge. We didn't know. I mean, you put 100 Canadian dollars in this thing. You don't know how far this thing will carry you.
You don't know.
You might drive a hour. You say, where is this thing? Where did it go? You don't know. And so it's like you are driving with fear and stress. And sometimes you may overcompensate because you might put 100 Canadian in it and you might drive a hour and you have to put another 50 Canadian. And you are saying, where is this thing? Because the gas gauge is not working. And so it brings a level of stress. It brings a level of anxiety. This thing might run out of gas on you. So you don't know where you are. And so without a plan,
Yeah.
you are like that.
Without a plan, you're going to waste resources.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so no company can start their financial year without some kind of budget. You must know what you're going to spend, how much you're going to spend, the limits on their spending, and that kind of thing. And, it's amazing that people actually do live like this without any kind of plan. They just pretty much go, they're pretty much Sarah, whatever will be. The future is not ours to see. You cannot live like that.
Yeah. When you don't have plan as well, you waste time.
Yes, you do. You waste resources altogether.
You waste resource. And guess what? One of the worst resource that you want to waste is your time. Because guess what? At the end of your life, we will peep into your life like this and we will look and we will see what you have exchanged your life for. Because your time is nothing more than your life now.
Yeah.
Because when a person gets sick and they go to the doctor, what they are saying is that they want their time on this earth to be extended. You want more life. You want more time. So your time is your life.
Right.
So if we are doing this podcast for 30 minutes, we are investing 30 minutes of our life in this that you will not get back.
Exactly.
And when somebody watch this podcast, they will have used 30 minutes of their life to watch this episode. So you don't want to waste your time because time is the only thing that you cannot get back.
Absolutely.
And it's the only thing in life that you don't know how much of it you really
Oh, did you hear that?
Yes.
So you can get back money,
you
right?
can get back money.
You can get money back. You can know how much money you have, but we never know how much
human time you have left on this
How much time do I have left?
Yeah.
Unlike the games, we didn't get 3 bars. Like yes, you get 3 lives.
Yeah, you can.
You get 3 points.
Yeah,
right?
you can check your bank account. That's too much money.
You can check right now.
You can check your gas gauge. You can, because human being build stuff into that.
Yeah.
You can know how long your shocks will last on your vehicle. You can know the lifespan of your battery. You can take up your phone and say, you know what? I need to charge my phone because
there you go.
But with time, it's the only commodity you don't sure.
You're not
how
sure
much of it.
Powerful.
So you have to squeeze everything. You have to juice it. So squeeze everything out of the day, because when we are reading your eulogy, I don't want to be like one of my granduncle. When we were reading his eulogy, there was nothing much to really say of him, because he did not exchange his time in the way he should have. And there are many people who come to the end of their life with should have, could have, because they have never exchanged their time well. But the only way to do that correctly is for all of us to plan it. No, not everything will go according to plan, but you can make adjustment. You can't take the feel of play and not have a game plan.
Powerful.
But at second half, all of us must make adjustment to those plans. But if you go into the game without a plan, it's a sure way to lose.
Sure way to lose. We're not doing that. That's why you're tuned in to the Designers of Change podcast. What an effective episode this has been. I hope you learned so much about planning. A big shout out to our sponsors, Jace Myrie Media, Mind Food International, Superlative Auto, Grace Creates, Amanda's Kitchen, Caribbean Gospel TV, MAAD, 97.5 FM, all the way from Guyana. It has been an awesome session. Remember, God has a plan for you, but he will not plan for you. And planning is the highest act of faith. Blessings.
Yes. And one last thing. Hit the subscription notification. Hit the subscription notification.
Absolutely. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Designers of Change podcast. Join us on the next episode.